Hey guys, today I wanted to talk to you about a weekend-long biofilm flush that I recently did for myself. I want to tell you about what it was like and the results that I had. But first, let's talk about biofilm. So biofilm is the sticky, slimy substance produced by microbes to shield themselves. So you can think of them walking into battle, holding up their shields and saying, hey, no, we're going to protect ourselves, because that's what they're doing. Studies do find that good microbes produce it, commensal, opportunistic, and pathogenic microbes can produce biofilm. The research finds that there is actually such a thing as stable, healthy biofilm, as well as pathogenic or virulent and problem-causing biofilm. And so that's what's relevant to us, and that's what we're looking to clear is these pathogenic and virulent biofilms. The biofilms are problematic in that they're a reservoir for microbes. So say you have C. difficile infection, you've used antibiotics, and the antibiotics stop working. This may be because there is a C. difficile biofilm protecting other C. difficile from the antibiotics. So in the same way that microbes can trigger specific cytokines and arms of the immune system, so too can biofilm. So biofilm in some cases is able to prevent antibiotics from entering entirely. Sometimes it still allows the antibiotics to enter the biofilm, but it will disable them. Piece to this is that there's always multiple species of microbes within the biofilm, and they are more easily able to share antibiotic resistant genes. So if one becomes antibiotic resistant, it's going to share that with the others in the biofilm. So what conditions should be concerned about this? Well, yeast is more likely to produce biofilm. There are certain species and strains of E. coli, Fusobacterium, Bacteroides fragilis, and many more that can produce biofilms. If you have IBD or IBS, you are also more likely to have biofilm. So the research has found that in patients with IBS, up to 57% are carrying biofilm, and in patients with IBD, approximately 37 to 40% are carrying biofilm as well. So definitely there's a relevance for those conditions. If you're detoxing heavy metals or mold, it's relevant as well as environmental toxins. So the biofilm can sequester toxins of any kind, which on the one hand does you a favor because the more we're exposed to toxins, the more oxidative stress goes up, so it kind of limits and slows that, but it also makes it harder to excrete the toxins, and it does encourage growth of pathogenic microbes, which are able to tolerate the presence of toxins. It's not usually beneficial microbes that are the ones that are tolerant to the toxins. So that's my spiel for you on biofilm. Let's jump into the cleanse. So I decided to do a very short, quick, intense cleanse by the company, Strong Pulses, but it's called Zen Cleanse, and it's their one-day cleanse. The founders of this company have a background in traditional Chinese medicine. The products are designed to be very high in systemic enzymes. So it is a systemic enzyme cleanse, which is perfect for clearing out biofilm. Note that they do market it for other things, and some of my commentary on the marketing, I don't resonate with some of the wording that they use, but I do see the value in this cleanse, especially in the systemic enzyme part. So let's talk about what it was like. So before you start the cleanse, you are meant to start eating more lightly the days before, and the day before eating soups, salads, smoothies, and limiting the intake of animal protein, which is going to be more of a burden for the systemic enzymes and use up some of their power. So day before, eat lightly. The day that you start the cleanse, in the morning, every hour on the hour, you start taking these sachets of powder. And the powder is made up of things like psyllium, agar, apple powder, apple fiber, blueberry fiber, as well as some proteases. And so that's going to wake up the microbes, it's going to wake up the biofilm, and it's going to start drawing things out. After a couple hours, you start adding in these bottles of liquid enzymes, and those are live enzymes made from a 4-year ferment, so very dense with systemic enzymes. These are also designed to be higher in superoxide dismutase and the precursors to glutathione. So it's going to be promoting liver detoxification and reducing inflammation on a systemic level as well. So on the one hand, you have the fiber coming in, waking everything up. You have the systemic enzymes that are penetrating the biofilm, promoting liver detoxification. And then you also have the fiber to bind anything that comes out. Now, the evening of, you also take another sachet of these little tablets that are other systemic enzymes as well. And that's kind of how you finish things off. Then, depending on how fast your metabolism is, you might start excreting things that same day or evening, or you might start excreting things the next day or day after. For me, I started excreting things the next morning, and it was ongoing for about a day and a half. Now, what did I see come out? So I saw, because of the fiber, you get this sort of like Play-Doh-like substance, and then your job is to look. So they recommend getting like a sieve or a tray, something disposable that you can collect the material in so that you can look at it. And so the fiber does come out. It looks like Play-Doh, and you're going to inspect and see what things were attached to it. And so depending on what your situation is, it's going to look different. So if you have trouble digesting fat, you might see fat globules. If you have trouble with bile, it might look green. If you have too little bile, things might look really pale. You might see old material. If you've got biofilm, you're going to see slimy, sticky substances. And so that's really what I was looking for. It ended up being a really good cleanse for me. So another reason I picked this one is because it was short. So with my MCAS and propensity for histamine issues, I've had issues with systemic enzyme supplements in the past where I just could not tolerate them. And I knew that if I could do this in one day, if I was going to have a negative reaction, it would be over quickly. It would be over in a day or two, and I would be fine and I could move on. So a quick cleanse really appealed to me. And I try to do some version of this every couple months anyways, just because of the heavy metal situation, but I've never been able to achieve actually such strong results as this one. So I've tried it before with like systemic enzymes, such as the ones by Wub enzyme, but this was definitely more effective, and I actually noticed a shift in my tolerance to things. So it also so happened after doing this cleanse, I had part 1 of a dental surgery, and I had to do a liquid diet for a couple days, and I was eating yogurt, which I would not normally tolerate, but after this cleanse I'm tolerating yogurt again, and a couple of the things that I didn't tolerate before. So that's like absolutely amazing for me, and sold me. Originally I wasn't totally convinced. The marketing just felt like a bit cheesy to me, and so I held off on ordering their maintenance package, but after I realized the benefits of this, I did go back and I did order their maintenance package. So I'm going to keep going with a modified version just so as not to trigger my histamine, because the histamine was triggered a little bit. So for me, my MCAS histamine symptoms are usually like insomnia or neurological. And so I did notice something the evening after doing like the formal day of the cleanse, that there was a little bit of an issue there, but it wasn't bad. So let's talk modifications for this cleanse. So the cramping was fairly intense, and that's to be expected for anyone who has had a history of IBS, SIBO, or Candida. There is going to be some cramping. If people are sensitive to cramping, you may want to make some modifications. And I can just tell that if I had done this in the past when I still had full-blown IBS or SIBO, I would have been really, really uncomfortable and probably a little bit scared. So just mentioning that now, and I talked to the company, there are some things that you can do to help ease your experience. One of them being cutting the doses of the fiber down, or cutting the doses of everything in half and then drying it out so that it's a 2-day cleanse instead of just 1 day. So that's something that you can do. You can also head up the cleanse. So before you even start it, you can take a product that they have called Detox S, which is the liquid enzymes, and you can take an ounce of that every single day the week beforehand, and that'll start stimulating and getting things moving as well. And then just eliminate like the burden being on just a full 1-2 days. So those are some of the modifications I spoke to the company about and that they said were okay. So when it comes to what comes out and what you excrete, they do have manuals. So they have like their mucoid plaque manual, and it tells you what everything means. That's where I think I have a bit of a differing opinion. I don't agree with the term mucoid plaque. I think it promotes this idea that everything that you're eliminating is this plaque-like substance, but it's not. So most of what you're eliminating is the fiber, and that's the Play-Doh-y looking stuff. So don't get confused and don't think that that's plaque, because it's just fiber. Okay, guys? It's fiber, and then whatever's attached to it is really what you're eliminating. So all in all, I had a great experience with this cleanse. I definitely plan on doing it again, potentially on a semi-regular basis. And I'm going to experiment with using some of their other products as well. Just with me having MCAS, I have to do everything in a very controlled manner. So basically, if I think that I'm going to react to something, I will schedule it and say, okay, I'm trying out this product on this Friday or Saturday of this month, because I know that I have the following days off and that I can afford to just rest on those days. So that's what I do. I did negotiate a discount code for us, so I'll share the link and the discount code below, and you guys can take advantage of that as well. So that's it for today. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions about biofilm or anything else. Bye for now.